to the last section of this unit. Most suppliers buy on credit as well as sell to others on credit basis or other terms of payment. Inasmuch as buying organizations aim at achieving value for money and will also target the most economic price, they need to note that suppliers also need to make reasonable profits. Therefore, it is prudent for buying organizations to promptly make reasonable payments to enable suppliers continue doing business. In this section, we look at a very interesting concept like debt collection period. At the end of this section, we should be able to calculate asset turnover, calculate stock turnover, calculate debt collection period, and calculate creditors payment period. Asset turnover. Asset turnover is a measure of how well an organization is using its assets to generate sales. A business that turns over its assets frequently is getting good value for them. So high turnover ratios suggest efficient management, though there are dangers in taking this idea too far. Asset turnover is calculated as the sales over your operating assets. So the sales you made at a particular period over the operating assets for that period is what you get your asset turnover, or what will give you your asset turnover. We also have the inventory or stock turnover. The inventory turnover is a ratio showing how many times a company has sold and replaced inventory during a given period. This inventory or stock turnover ratio measures the number of times stock is turned over in a year. Stock is being sold and replaced in a year. The formula is cost of sales over the average stock value. How are you going to get this average stock value? You add your beginning inventory to your closing inventory and then you divide by 2. So beginning inventory plus closing inventory over 2 will give you your average stock value. And the formula for the inventory or stock turnover is the cost of sales over this average stock value. Debt collection period. This debt collection period measures how long after purchase customers pay the suppliers for their goods. This is important because failure to send out invoices on time or to follow up late payers will have an adverse effect on the cash flow of the business. The debt collection period relates closing trade debtors to the average daily credit sales to indicate how many days sales are represented by the debtors figure. In other words, how many days worth of sales the supplier has not paid for. The formula for calculating this debt collection period is the closing trade debtors over credit sales for the year times 365. Closing trade debtors over credit sales for the year times 365 days. We're using 365 days or a year because we want the time in days or weeks. We want to know the specifics. That's why we're multiplying by 365 days. 365, which is the number of days we have in a year. Aside the debt collection period, we also have the creditor's payment period. The debt collection period is sometimes referred to as the credit period ratio, though that term is more often applied to the opposite side of the debt collection coin. Creditor's payment period refers to how long after purchase the buying organization pays for the goods it has bought on credit from its suppliers. How long after purchase the buying organization pays for the goods it has bought from its suppliers, and the formula for calculating this credit payment period is the closing trade creditors over credit purchases for the year times 365. And then 365, like we said earlier, has to do with the number of days we have in the financial period or the financial year. So the creditor's payment period is the closing trade creditor over the credit purchases for the year times the 365 days we have in the year. In summary, we have looked at efficiency and working capital ratios. We explained asset turnover and how it is calculated. We also explained inventory or stock turnover and how it is calculated. In addition, we looked at debt collection period and credit payment period, including how they are calculated. Thank you.